Howdy folks, Nathan Edlin here with the Fast Lane Car, and behind me is the 2015 BMW M4. It's kind of pretty, isn't it? It's a hell of a color. Now, what I have here, this is the sticker, or the Maroni, and it says this car costs $86,200. This other piece of paper is a speeding ticket. I recently got driving the $86,200 M4, and it was worth it. Find out why next. What you're looking at here is a 3-liter straight six. Puts out 425 horsepower and 406 pound-feet of torque, and it's hooked up to a 7-speed automatic transmission. We'll talk about the transmission in a minute. Something very interesting about this engine, first of all, it's not a twin-scroll turbocharger. It's not a twin-power turbocharger. It has 2 turbochargers. I have double-checked this, and according to BMW on their website, twin turbocharged straight six. As a matter of fact, most of this engine is brand new. So what you're looking at here is essentially a 3-liter engine that has very little to do with the other 3-liter engines they have. With that being said, it is a freaking rocket. Yes, it sends a lot of power out there. And what's really interesting is that maximum torque comes in under 2,000 RPM. Man, this thing chugs. So I bet you're wondering, what makes this car unique if you compared it to an M3 or even an M6? And you know what? It is different. It took a little while. At first I was thinking, why would you spend money on this when you can get an M3, which is just as fast pretty much, handles just as good, is easier in some ways to drive because it's not quite as wide. I mean, why would you get one? Well, that's part of the reason right there, because it is wide. It's a much bigger car. This thing is nearly as wide as a Corvette. Really good for big people in the front. Backseat space is actually reasonable. Kids fit there, no problem. Pop them right there. Small adults, sure. If I move the seat up a few inches, I can get them in there too. Nice interior, right? Love it. But there are a couple minor things that stick out, and there's one major issue too, but we'll get to that in a minute. Minor things. The seat belts. In other BMW products with 2 doors, they have a little helper arm that comes and pulls the seatbelt out. So all you have to do is just pull it over your shoulder, no problem. But in this car, you don't get that. So what you have to do is turn around and reach and really reach back in order to get it over your shoulder. That is, unless you're someone freakishly tall like Roman or Andre, and that way the seat's far enough back and leaning back far enough to where it's easier to grab. But for regular human beings, it's a little bit difficult. There's another minor issue, and that is the sight lines. Out the front, great, but you do have some minor blind spots over your shoulders. The steering is so good. This is electrically assisted power steering, and normally that means that you're losing feel, or it just doesn't feel like you're that connected to the car. BMW worked tirelessly. BMW worked their asses off in order to make this steering feel absolutely fantastic. No, you don't get a lot of feedback, but the weight is ideal, absolutely perfect in each setting. There is such a connection to the front wheels. I really truly know what they're doing and where I'm going. Often when you have electrically assisted power steering, you're kind of vague. You don't really know for sure if they're really doing exactly what you want them to do, and that's huge. On a sports car like this, which is really the very top of its class, you want to know, hey, what are my front wheels doing? So fortunately, that is exactly what this car imparts. It tells you exactly what you want to know in that regard. If you look at this frame stiffening brace right here, it is all carbon fiber and it is utterly beautiful. It looks like it was handcrafted. Kind of looks like they smashed a snake and spread it out and then covered it with lacquer, but in a good way. As for the rest of the vehicle, it is unique in terms of its overall design. I've already had a few people confuse this car for the M3. The front end is one of the most unique parts of the vehicle. Headlights, grille, all of that are unique. The hood, classic bulge. By the way, I've noticed we do read as many comments as we can. We literally get hundreds every day, sometimes even thousands, because we have so many videos and we try to respond to what we can. So, and I've noticed that a lot of you are like, well, if you have a double clutch or an automatic transmission, the car is much, much faster, and it's, it's been proven in all these magazines. Yes, of course, we know that. But what makes a manual transmission so awesome is that you get full control of the car. It's a lot of fun to throw a car into different gears. And that feel, that overall feel that you are actually moving components around, separating and reconnecting things underneath you, especially if it's a really good manual transmission, it's one of the most rewarding things you can get out of a modern car. The rest of the design is pretty nice. The color really brings everything out, but check out these mirrors. Oh my God, beautiful. And this is done for aerodynamics. They swear they have nothing to do with the overall good looks of the car. I tend to disagree. I really do like the side vents too, and I bet a lot of you do too. It's not what I would consider to be the most subtle thing, but it is functional. This is actually open, so air does pull out through here, and it does help cool the brakes, according to BMW. As awesome as this car is, and a lot of you guys out there are in the same boat I am, you love going around a track real fast. You love doing these back roads and just flying down the back roads real fast. But then you come up to the realization of, every single day I'm driving this car, I feel like my molars are, being pounded and my cojones are being pushed around. And that's because this car, as compared to the regular 4 Series, is much, much, much stiffer. Even if you put the suspension in comfort mode, which this one is in. It's jarring. Check these out. Painted wheels. I'm absolutely terrified to come anywhere within 10 inches of a curb. Still a good car. Still an amazing car to drive. Very comfortable. Great seats. Great seats. The Germans know what they're doing. I really wish that this was the manual version. It'd be such a driver's car if that happened. And there's something really cool. Down here, parking brake. Manual parking brake. I'm not going to be a juvenile delinquent and pull the brake and do a bunch of, J-turns or anything else like that, because you guys bitch and moan about it every time I do. So, I will not do that today. Final thing I wanted to show you guys that I think is very important. This is an all carbon fiber roof. BMWs make you feel special because you're driving one of the best driving cars on the road, and this car's no different. All the M cars are the very top of their class. They are the best. This is the best. Thank you, BMW. Thank you. Dankeschön. Thank you. The reason I'm saying thank you so much is because they managed to put together an interior that doesn't have carbon fiber everywhere. Thank you. Because everybody else does. When there's carbon fiber on the outside of most vehicles, they tend to put them on the inside. And to me, I just never liked the look of it. It always looked kind of cheap, and it kind of was there to tell your passenger, hey, this is a lightweight vehicle, don't worry, it's very light. See that? Look at that trim piece right there, that's carbon fiber. It weighs 0.1 ounces less than the wood one. And in this case, they're not even using wood. They're using metal. I think it's metal. It looks like metal. It feels like metal. Most importantly, it looks good. The rest of the interior is very similar to what you would see in the M6. Folks, this is an amazing car. Don't get me wrong. It is such a driver. It is just like awesome when you're really pushing it hard. That's why using the old scale of buy it, lease it, rent it, or forget it, I'll give it a lease it. But you know, I don't think I would ever actually lease it. Not without the manual transmission. It's the automatic transmission that's been driving me absolutely haywire. That 7-speed transmission is just, it's not very friendly. So, I still think it's such a damn fun car to drive though. For the Fast Lane Car, this is Nathan Adlin. Don't forget to go to TFL Car for news, views, and real world reviews. And remember, I love you, baby. Just kidding. See ya. So while our buddy Andre sets up, I wanted to read to you a few of these prices, which brings the total to $86,200. The MSRP starts at $64,200. So $22,000 worth of stuff, and the main culprit is the M carbon ceramic brakes, which I can tell you around town are very grabby, but when you're on it really, really hard, they're amazing. We good?